Whew. Welcome back, folks. It's been a while, hasn't it? To me, it felt like 10 seconds. Let's see now. We've learned a whole lot of stuff. Things that went down. And, oh boy, things that are about to go down. So what I'm going to do is not waste time and save up to here. And we're going to jump right into the case, Ace. It's the final day of trial here on case 3. And let's not waste no time. January 8th, 9:46 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 1.
Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. So what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and then ended on a giant mystery.
That's true. And we still haven't saw a single part of it yet.
Are you okay, Nick?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I saw that little flash down in your eyes.
No, that wasn't doubt. That was, determination.
Why do I believe you? Nearly time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant seat. Roger. Don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you.
Hey, pal! Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out! She doesn't mean that! How do you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Oh. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of the confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this will help.
Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too?
Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is a small bottle that turned up in Trey BN's kitchen a couple of days ago.
Wow, look at all these little bottles.
Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. You got so many, they're overflowing onto the floor.
Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others.
Well, what do you know? And doesn't have a label either.
It doesn't smell.
We finally got the analysis results back from the lab.
So, what is it? Is it the poison?
I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication.
Medication?
Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? You mean... Yeah, it's the medication Glenelg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenelg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? Small bottle refiled into the court record. What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Later on, they might have gotten something on prints, but... That's going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is imprintable today. Got it? Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done. Or my name isn't Phoenix Wright. January 8th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 4. Court's now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. 1. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark of the rim of the coffee shows that the victim drank from it with its right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Godo. Furthermore, according to the witness account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. Yet why is it on his right?
It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick?
Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning, and we must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Godo. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you resolve these contradictions? You know the answer to these riddles. The old guy wasn't just throwing seed in here. He was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Very well, let the first witness take the stand. And you are?
Oh, bonjour! I am Sheen Armstrong, the owner and the chef of the Caribbean restaurant Enchanté.
Shit a brick! Hard! Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman?
Oh, no, monsieur. As you can see, I am le petit gentleman. No?
Oh, the face I'm doing right now is making me cringe. On the day of the incident, you went to being isn't that right?
Is you, monsieur? Everything is right.
Two. Wow, he's totally fake. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well, your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Trebian.
Oui, volunteers?
At Trebian.
We need all having just two customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decor that there. Having a large mirror between the tables, for example. That is what the old man was looking at.
I don't know what that was.
Look up the LPers and the glasses. It would have seen everything in reverse, no?
I don't know what that was. So that just made me.
Un gran mirror, la most enormous mirror. and suddenly, the mystery disappears. Like I said, the wheel keeps turning, so roll with it. That will explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yeah, let's continue. We're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it! Everything? He would have seen everything in reverse?
Hey, Nick, we should take a sec and think about what OECD said in his testimony.
How did he phrase it again?
The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green slings on his specs.
So it'll be on the right side instead of the left.
No question, you can lock me up if I was wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand.
If he saw everything he described reflected in the mirror, and everything he said he saw on his left was actually his... and everything he said he saw on his left was actually on the right, huh?
And that clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess. Or does it? It's kind of hard to believe everything's a fault of a mirror, but...
Do you think OTD saw everything through a reflection?
If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony.
Well, that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. Just gotta dig deeper.
Let me say something, sir. Let me show you the man in question. Wore an HMD over left eye. Left eardrum was ruptured. Objection! The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we?
The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt.
So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in the mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactement. You see, monsieur, now that you think about it, it is not so odd, no? Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Order, Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over the right eye.
Objection.
2. Help it. 4. Yeah, 4. That's right. You should have the taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks.
You remember this, I presume? I broke the vase. Sorry, apologies. I mean, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony. Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elk? Clearly it's the victim's eyebrows. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elk H&D made a big impression on the old man. 5. I saw the image of those newfangled specs because he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on the left ear. Do you hear his left ear? Well, try it.
Ugh, that's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever. Wow, I really thought he was all seedy for me. Kudo's good.
Enough. I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony.
Well, look, Nick, looks like the boil of the contradiction you found is just a rash.
A mare can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court where all is.
Oui, I can explain, please. If you will look at the plans of the restaurant.
Ugh. The mirror.
Hello, is everyone sitting comfortably? The mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. There is only one seat from which you can have seen an image of the victim. That is the seat at the table next to the victims. That is the old man sitting at the table. Incident occurred, I moved the table so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else.
I see no problems with the explanation we just heard. From the table next to the victim, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror.
Oh, the naughty little coquette I am, confusing all the men like this.
Don't worry about it. I'm gay. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there again.
I hate that guy.
You didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that?
Only tools, of course.
Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please. S'il vous plaît. Well, sir, I just had to say one thing. Hold it! So, run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct?
Oui.
Wait, really? Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't put a mirror there. It would be in the way.
Objection!
Look who's talking. Right. Huh? You're obstructing my view, among other things. But this is my seat in the courtroom! Trebian's charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way. Unlike you. Try it.
I can tell you, monsieur, the mirror was there in the middle of the restaurant.
Hold on.
And where would that be? Oh la la, look how you lean towards me. I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer.
Mr. Armstrong! Tell the cool what you know once!
I attract the older ones too. You're not handsome. Shall I teach you too?
Hey! I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time.
I bet she has mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume.
Then, I will tell you, there was only one seat from which you could have seen.
Yeah, let me ask about that.
So, why can you only see the victim from that particular seat? My monsieur, it is obvious, no? If you look at the floor, if you look at the plans, you will understand. The victim would have been reflected in the mirror like so. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would see everything, no?
So that's what she don't see he was sitting up, that day. When the poisoning happened. The old man was sitting at the table next to
The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim. Why does that seem kind of odd?
Something just still feels off to me. You know what? I'm still saying this. Objection! This piece of evidence contradicts with testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo. Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist. Sounds like you're describing yourself, Wright. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is this something that should not exist in this photo? Well, the closest table. This is the closest table. I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in this picture. The vase. What possible connection does it have to do with this witness testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. And that piece of evidence is I broke the vase at my seat, I'm sorry. Take that! There is one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all. Don't be an idiot, Troy. That's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly! There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Trabian that day! Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie!
Mon Dieu!
Don't try to confuse the court tonight. Obviously, the witness cleaned up on this while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. Unfortunately, Mr. Godo, that doesn't quite work for me! Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary, in his own words. I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear in which he couldn't hear? You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim the mirror wasn't there, try it. Then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it.
Are you going to be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick?
There's more than just one contradiction, Maya.
What do you mean?
Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table, and there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. The victim was a phony. This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet there is only one simple and there's one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. 9. Order in the court! Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom! Quiet, Krabs. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say?! Right. Are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the cold coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was...
The serving girl brought him a jalapeno, but she put something in it. That's the serving girl, right there in the vendor's chair. I remember her well. And her ass.
It's so hard to believe, but... there was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there was no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but... it's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct?
Oh, no. This is most difficult for me.
No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath, after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Trabian that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defense request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the restaurants in the events in the restaurant that day.
Oui.
In the restaurant.
Le victim, Monsieur Ed, came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word, Monsieur Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. There was no time for phony to do the acting.
So, just so we're clear, there was no mayor in the restaurant after all.
Pardon, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly.
What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. For now, we will hear your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Yeah. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct?
Oui, it comes often for my special coffee.
I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for experience.
Oh, you make me so happy, Monsieur. You are most welcome anytime.
I said it's worth one sip and nothing more. Ooh, bird! So, Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. Like, what time was it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived?
Oh no, I cannot remember, Monsieur.
I believe we were told by a witness yesterday.
The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir.
Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness?
The incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. and 2:10, no? just after 2. Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful.
I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of day will be added to the witness testimony.
Oui, monsieur Judge. Everything I do it for you.
Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood.
He's even humming a song to himself.
I remember the old man arrived not long after him, just after 2 p.m.
Are you absolutely sure about the time?
When I think really odd, I am sure it was after 2. Oui. It is the time I stopped serving the lunch menu.
Quite right, I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it on time. I guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch. And would you look at that? It's almost lunchtime already. Witness! Get on with your testimony, please! Well, sir, let me present something to you. Experience the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life every Monday at 1:30 p.m. Hold objection!
I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. Oui? What do you mean?
I got you by the short and curlies, bitch. At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week they announced the winning number of a $500,000 lottery ticket.
Oui, that must be the show Monsieur Egg was listening to.
I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright.
I wonder...
You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct?
Oui, I'm sorry. I remember it perfectly now. I know it's that time because I just finished serving a lunch menu.
Get to the point, Wright. You have one. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. And it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the 1:30?
Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won.
And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time.
No!
This victim, we've been told about, has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum. Catching a show that was already over. There is only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glenelgs in Trabian that day. The real Glenelg, now dead, had been poisoned by the real killer. And the phony Glenelg acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems. I mean, if it wasn't the case, how
Could you explain the time discrepancy? Quite a performance, Wright. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this? What is this? Music Theory 101? Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony Ogue is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain that? Where is the real Glen Elg? How do you explain that? Where the real Glen Elg is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at the time, the real Glen Elg was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion. Thank you, Wright. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Wright. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. Evidence?
What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden?
I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Glen Elg concealed? Inside. It would have had to been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden inside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Très Bien. Interesting. But where could a body could have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these planes, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed inside Très Bien. Take that! The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? Oh, you mean this? Found covered in unidentified fingerprints in the kitchen. Take that! Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No. I never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only lost the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Très Bien. Wait? But I only use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited an ophthalmological clinic and was given medication that day. 9. You can't be serious.
The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle match the prescription that was given to Mr. Elk. Glenn Elk's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen?
Monsieur!
Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Barrett. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back.
No!
Order! This is extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Grinnell?
No, I could never do such an horrible thing.
No! Mr. Gordo. The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you had by now? Then I'd like to do the same to the person who lied to. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my ash deficient friend?
Je vous demande pardon! Please, you must hear me out!
It is a trap! Just like you.
Listen to me, por favor!
That's Spanish, you dumbass.
Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is Spanish.
So you speak Spanish? I'm sorry, but English, motherfucker, do you speak it? I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it?
No, absolutely no.
Let's hear it. You've got one shot, right, Grants? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you. As does my gavel.
It's clear. What do they say in the movies?
I've got a bad feeling about this. Very well, begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. It's gonna sound weird. The confession.
It is true. I ate the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me.
You were forced. By who?
I cannot say how it is.
Let's try a different question then. When Mr. Elk died, was he really the only person at his table? There was another man. I knew it.
Maggie was telling the truth.
You may cross-examine a witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get to him to tell us the name of the real killer. The confession.
It is true. I ate the body.
1, 2, 3.
And what reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong?
Oh no, monsieur.
Yes.
Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment.
A maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that.
And a bit too male.
I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason. So I'll just have to prove it with evidence. Oh, you did it because of one thing. The debt.
Objection!
You have $500,000 debt, don't you?
$500,000! Is this true, Mr. Armstrong?
Oui. Disons, I was weak and I borrowed the money.
This is Mr. Armstrong's Achilles heel. And that's why you couldn't do it. And that's why you couldn't refuse anything asked of you by this man. This man who happened to be the pain of my existence. Furio Tigre! Take that! A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything. This man told you.
It is as you say. Mr. Armstrong, the tiger, it told me it was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, it was meeting a victim to the man that he pays on. I don't know why it happens like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and unconscious Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. And after that, I tried to forget I had seen.
I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre. I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison in the lottery ticket were recovered from the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well?
No, I know nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who done it. I wasn't know. It is despicable.
Mr. Godo, you will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more. How's it? Don't sit back and relax yet, try it. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godo. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. Wow. In this case, I'm going to stop here in the next part. we're going to have the final showdown with the dragon. Or rather, yeah, the dragon or the phoenix and the tiger. When Case 3 concludes right after this.